Hey everyone, Sky here to discuss Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, starring Ron Perlman, Selma Blair, Doug Jones, Luke Goss, and John Alexander, and directed by Guillermo del Toro. Final movie before we get to the reboot and of Guillermo del Toro's biography, which I did a couple of years ago, plus Pacific Rim, not the sequel, but the first one, and the two Hellboy movies I'm at now. So, when did I see this? Back when it came out in theaters, 2008. What do I think of it then? Well, it's about to be the same that I'm about to think about now. Let's get into it. We start off with Hellboy as a young boy on Christmas Eve in 1955, getting told a story about the Golden Army by Professor Broom, briefly returned by John Hurt, and King Valar with Prince Nuada and Princess Nuala. And I like the animation style of the story being told. It was pretty neat. Thousands of years later, Prince Nuada is alive and well, thinking to kill mankind, and his partner Wink. And I love the puppet design of Wink, and I'm liking these villains so much better than them the first time. They're the first film, I should say, and I can follow them very well. I also like the design of the little tooth fairies they send out and eat some people in the room. It was pretty fun when we see them in action a little later. Manning, returned by Jeffrey Tambor, shows Abe Sapien, returned by Doug Jones, no David Hyde Pierce this time, but I'm not sure what happened to his voice. About how Public Hellboy, returned by Ron Perlman, gets Liz Sherman, returned by Selma Blair, and and Hellboy have an argument about space and how I'm connecting with these characters much better than the first time. The scene with the Tooth Fairies start attacking Hellboy, Liz, and Abe was a pretty damn fun action sequence, and Hellboy reveals himself to the world and is on TV fully faced for the first time ever, and Manning is pissed and Hellboy is loving and laughing at the same time. And I love the way Ron Perlman is laughing at all of it, because it makes me laugh. It's hysterical. I'm even laughing so hard because it's hysterical. Prince Nuada wants to awaken the Golden Army, but first he wants to connect the crown in 3 different pieces. He got one earlier at the auction, and he's about to get the second one from his father, and the third half, his sister Princess Nuala carries, and that as a MacGuffin works for me. Johann Kraus, played by Seth MacFarlane, who created and voices in this TV show called... I like that he's a tin man with gas in his head to move around other bodies around. For example, one of the Tooth Fairies leads them to a troll market in the Brooklyn Bridge. I enjoy this character's presence, and I also like how he controls one of the robot Golden Army people at the end of the movie. Hellboy, Abe, and Johann go after an old lady who eats cats to lead them to the troll market and doesn't open the door, and Hellboy punches her. And Johann is lucky enough to open the door, and I love the design of the troll market. It's very Guillermo del Toro style. How it's put all together. I love when Hellboy is slapping around a monster with the tumor while Johann's technique doesn't work. Meanwhile, Abe follows and meets Princess Nuala and gets into a fight with Wink until Hellboy comes in. I love the Hellboy versus Wink fight. It's such a great fight and funny in a great way. The pacing of this movie is going by so fast, and I'm loving every minute of this movie. I am also enjoying the CGI plant monster and how Hellboy saves a baby and fights the forest god at the same time, until people start hating on Hellboy because they don't want him here in the first place. Hellboy is taunted by the world and the fact that they're afraid of him, and tells Liz all about it, and she says she needs time to think, and Hellboy takes a shower when he straight up. Johann talks to him about his temper, and how it makes him weak until Hellboy punches him, and Johann smacks Hellboy with the lockers after his gas goes underneath the lockers, which made me laugh very hard because the sequence was great. Meanwhile, Abe is falling for Princess Nuala, and both he and Hellboy sing Can't Smile Without You. And I really like the fact that this movie has a heart, especially for love interests, that kind of a thing. Prince Nuada comes to where they live and captures Princess Nuala and stabs Hellboy, and they can't get that knife out of him. So Manning's plan is to not get the knife out of his chest. So Liz and Abe go to Ireland and to get Prince Nuada, and same with Johann, to take the knife out of his chest, and they run into a monster with wheels, and Nuala hides the final piece in a book earlier in the film, and I'm liking this pretty much so far. Hellboy's faith of death cures him, and how? Liz gives him the reason to live is because he's going to be a father of 2 babies, and we won't find that out until the very end of the movie. And the monster with wheels gets his shiny knife, and I like that as it builds up from the beginning of this movie. Abe gives Prince Nuada the lost piece of the crown and tells the Golden Army to kill them all, and Hellboy challenges Prince Nuada to a fight, and I do like that fight, and Hellboy lets him live because he can't kill the prince without killing the princess. So Nuala stabs herself and kills Prince Nuada and her own self. And I like that sacrifice. I like the fact the movie ends with Hellboy, Abe, and Liz quit, and Johann doesn't regret his actions. And Liz tells Hellboy they're having twins. It was such a beautiful ending. I don't know what to tell you. It was just so beautiful. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 8.7 out of 10. This is the most entertaining movie I've seen in some time. I connect with the characters, and as I like them. It has some funny moments I laughed at, and I love the cinematography throughout the movie. This is a lot of fun from start to finish, in my opinion. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next week I will be back with the reboots of Hellboy starring David Harbour from Stranger Things. And until next time, let's give evil some hell.